Don't know.
Hello.
Well,
I hate doing lives when we've lost. I really can't be bothered, to be honest.
I was thinking,
It's grim, isn't it? Look, we've lost 1-0. Did we play well? Yeah, we played all right. I think.
Just not good enough to get a goal.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing that sort of worries me a little bit, is our lack of goals. So if we look back at the last few games, we haven't scored any today. We scored 1 at MK Dons. We scored 1 against Notts County. We scored a couple against Sutton. I don't know. We just seem to have. I don't know.
I just think it's getting so kind of late in the season. I know it's only February, but it's kind of getting to that point now where
you look
squeaky bum time, as the favourite saying of Rob McElhenney.
Look, as the game started today, you sort of like, well, finally we're starting to put a bit of a performance together. Along side by side with the performance, there's got to come points, and there's got to come goals, and there's got to come other stuff. And you know, I was very open that I felt that these 3 away games that we had in a row, so MK Dons, Gillingham and Forest Green, were going to be quite pivotal in our season, in my opinion. I thought that if we could get a decent amount of points, if we could walk out of these 3 games with 5 points, or 6 points, or 7, or 9,
or then, 1 as it is at the moment,
or you know, I just felt like they were going to be really important. 3 away games in a row where we haven't been playing great away from home. I thought if we could grind out a couple of disgusting, horrible wins from these games, then we were really going to push on.
I thought after the MK Dons game, I thought we would really, today would be our day.
And the performances are there. I don't know what. I think if we'd have won 1-0 and it was a really horrible game and we'd produced nothing, I'd still be moaning that we hadn't produced anything, we hadn't played well. I don't think they can win because it's a sort of like, but we've sort of played well and we've created some chances. But it's about converting them at the end of the day for me. And I think,
we obviously, because we were listening, there was, I think there was was there a Bolton gave a foul? Well, not gave a foul, but fouled one of the Gillingham players and got a yellow card.
Yeah.
What are your opinion of those of you who are obviously watching it? We obviously can't see it, so we don't know if it was a yellow card or not. But do you feel that it was a yellow card for Bolton, or do you think it was a genuine tackle for the ball?
That is what we're going to discuss, is it?
What else are we going to discuss?
I don't know.
Let's look at some comments. Kotar FFS. I'm not going to say what that actually means.
Yeah.
Chaz Llewellyn. Man, we just haven't been able to finish. John Price, not good enough. Well, we could argue that they were good enough, but obviously they just weren't taking their chances. So
I think it's that age-old question, isn't it? What do you want to watch? Do you want to watch a team playing well and trying their best and losing, or do you want to watch a team who are maybe not on their game but still managing to grind out results? Because I think at this particular moment in time, I don't want to see pretty football.
No,
I just want to see us grinding out results like we did at Sutton. I didn't think we were very good at Sutton. I thought, to be honest, I thought Sutton would have been gutted to come away from that game, bearing in mind they were second to bottom at the time. To come away from that game with nothing, I thought they'd have been fuming. But to grind out a result there and just get it done, get in, get the 3 points and get out. Yeah. I think at this point of the season,
that's what
when we're not playing very well away from home, that's what I want. I just want to go places, I don't care how we play, and I just want to get the points and come home. You know, to be sitting now at the end of a game going, oh, we played well, didn't we? Who cares? Who cares that we played well because we got nothing from it?
If it was like the start of the season, and we were playing these sort of games where we were coming out with nothing, then you'd think it's crap, but we've still got however long of the season. But it's literally February. We've got less than 3 months now left of the season. And my issue is, if we're not playing well away in League Two, if we scrape through and do promote into League One, how are we meant to play League? You know, because obviously League One is a step up. So again, we're going to be struggling playing the League One teams, and I just think
I felt like it does feel still like we turned a corner with away form, you know, because we were at Salford and we saw that and we saw what happened there, and we had one shot on target and we scored, and that was it. That's all we did all game, and it was awful. It was the worst performance I've seen for ages from a Wrexham team, and you think it can't get any worse than that. And since that, we've turned a corner, and we have played better, and we've had more of the ball, and we've created chances, but it's just not working for us at the moment. MK Dons on Tuesday, we were creating stuff. And I said, it just had that horrible, age-old Wrexham feeling of we're either going to... I knew we were going to concede. I could feel it. I could just tell that we were going to concede. And we did. And then, even when we went 1-1, it sort of felt like... It didn't feel like we were going to get anything out of that game. It just felt like we weren't taking our chances and we weren't creating stuff in the right way. And it felt like that today. You know, we were sitting, you know, and I said, if there was another 90 minutes, I'm not sure we'd score. I'm genuinely not sure we'd score from another 90 minutes of play.
I'm not sure
Even though it felt like we had better control of what we were doing. We got the ball on the floor. We weren't just hitting it long. You know, we felt like we were controlling a lot of, you know, big parts of the game. But I don't know. I think we go back. I can't remember who said it in the halftime review, but it was very much that you play your best players.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe, you know, with Mullins sitting on the bench, and maybe he does need a rest at the moment, and maybe that little bit of time away will help him. But I don't know. I just feel really flat, because I felt like what we produced in that first half, although we had no shots on target, it sort of felt like, again, two sides of that. It sort of feels like no shots on target, but we were creating opportunities, and it felt like in the second half we were going to push on and we were going to create more, and we were going to get something from that game. And then, as it turned out, because we weren't clinical enough, you know, we've come away with nothing. And I don't know. Peter said biggest complaint is no urgency until the 75th minute. No,
and it's for me, for the away games, like, well, at the beginning, the first half, it seemed like they were pushing on. They had more possession of the ball, but then something happened. Usually it's like they play, you know, a bit, whatever the word is, I can't think of the word. I don't want to say crap, because, you know, but they play not great in the first half, and then when they come out the second half, they that's where they get their chances, and that's where they get their goals. But for some reason today, hello Pops, for some reason today that just didn't kind of translate into goals, and it's just it is frustrating. But as Free Rider says, Wrexham for life, absolutely. We moan, but we always come back, and we always support the lads, whatever happens.
Charles said we had chances for sure. Sarah, we didn't take enough shots. Michael Hillier, was the starting lineup correct in your opinion?
There was 5 changes today.
Is that right? 5?
I believe.
Yeah. Look, starting lineup, no one can deny Arthur should be in goal. I think I'm more than happy with Arthur.
O'Connell should definitely get in the starting 11.
I think I like O'Connell in the centre of that three. I don't think that's a bad decision.
No.
Tunnicliffe, I've got no issue. I think Max has been playing too well to leave him out. I had a feeling McLean was going to be in midfield again because of obviously George Evans and James Jones being out. So Mendy on the left and Barnett on the right, more than happy with that. Midfield as well. I think the question sort of comes from whether we think the front two are the right front two. I think that's sort of the question that you're asking really, Michael, because I'm happy with the defence. I was happy with the midfield that we had available. Whether Fletcher and Marriott starting was the right option, I don't know really. Possibly, because it's just a case of whether who out there thinks that Mullin should be starting. Should Mullin be starting, or should the last two games now we've had Marriott up front, who everyone seems to like. And he's got lots of running in him, and he pulls defenders this way and that way. So I don't have.
But you could argue that Mullin's exactly the same.
Yeah, you could do that, and
them two seem like they've got similar styles of play, and I just think, yeah, like we've discussed previously, and obviously when we did our podcast interview with Mark Griffiths on Monday. I asked the question whether or not the lack of pre-season for Paul Mullin has had a detrimental effect on his performance. He's not been rubbish. He's still been, very creative on the pitch. But I just think that there is something that's stopping him from being the Paul Mullin that we know and love. I do think sometimes it is the best decision to keep him on the bench and then bringing him out in the last whatever, but maybe not in the 75th minute. I think maybe in the last half an hour maybe might be the better decision. Bit confused as to why Palmer wasn't on the bench. Not sure whether he was injured or what, because when he came on against MK Dons on Tuesday, I thought he played really well. So yes, that one's a bit of a conundrum. Not sure what was that.
I'm gonna go. I think for me, if fit, I would have started with Mullin and Palmer today. If I'm completely honest,
yeah.
I felt like
is that hindsight though, or is that something?
No,
I
felt that at the start. I think they're a big physical team, Gillingham, and I just felt that Palmer's sort of size would have caused them more problems than. Having said that, though, Stephen Fletcher's, he's not. He's not small, is he?
Yeah,
but I probably would have started with Mullin and Palmer,
and then swapped
with
over
Fletcher to come off the bench. That would have been my ideal, I think, for today.
I think it's been a long time since we've had Palmer and Mullin starting in the starting team. So yeah, it would be interesting to see their dynamic again, because they obviously play well together. But yeah, we haven't seen that for a while.
Chris said, yeah, it was a card.
Yeah,
so there you go.
Well,
that
I'm sure we'll see it on the highlights later. Ben Parker, two completely different teams in each half. 100% agree. Very disappointing result when everyone around us on the table got at least 1 point. We're surprised we actually had 3 shots on target.
I am as well, Ben, to be honest. I looked at that stat and I couldn't remember them. So, yeah. Oh, what's going on here? There you go.
Everything was forward. Chaz Llewellyn, they've played hard in all fairness. I was happy to see Lee being more present in the match. Yeah, he had a couple of chances, but obviously they didn't, again, translate into...
Peter said he'd start Jordan Davis over Lee if fit at the moment. That's an interesting one, Peter, because...
I do like Jordan Davis.
He's one of Jordan was an ever-present in our team. If anything, he was the first name on the team sheet for a long time. Elliot Lee's come in, and you could maybe argue maybe he's not performing as normal. Maybe people are getting a little bit wise to the way he plays. Maybe they're putting a few extra people his way.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Jordan playing more. I
Yeah,
would.
he's such a good player, to be fair. Your dad said, I don't think it matters at this stage how we play, just get the point. That is what is needed at the end of the day. Yeah, I agree, Phil.
Yeah.
Totally agree. That's what we need. Like Ryan said, we need to play. If we play dirty and ugly, not dirty, but play ugly games and we still come away with 3 points, and I think that's what we need to start doing. Blair Vanderberg, it looks like we are trying to play the perfect pass to get the perfect goal, and no one wants to take the chances. I agree. It didn't sound like anybody wanted to take the chances. Davis had a chance, but tried to play the pretty pass instead.
Karen Pendlebury says agree.
Charles Llewellyn, well, Jordan Davis is one of our own.
Yes.
Absolutely. Of course he is. Coidy boy. Chris Wham, interesting they left Palmer off playing against such a large lineup. I also thought Young should have started. He's been playing so well.
Yeah, I was confused by that because I thought Young would start today, especially after his performance at MK Dons.
Yeah.
That might be a match fitness thing, though. Luke hasn't played a lot of game. It hasn't had a lot of game time in the last. Well, since the start of the season.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 games in sort of 4 or 5 days. It is maybe a little bit. Your midfield, you sort of want to keep in there, especially the sort of position that Luke plays. So perhaps it was more of a match fitness thing.
I've just seen your dad's
I know,
comment.
yeah. Perhaps it's a match fitness thing, and they didn't want. Or they didn't believe Luke Young had 2 sets of 90 minutes in him. And I think he probably would have, but it might be a match fitness thing that maybe for that one.
Michael Hillier, if the worst happens, fingers crossed it doesn't, and we are not promoted, is the season a success? I think it will feel like a failure. Still games and time to do it. Come on, Wrexham.
It's an interesting point, Michael, and it's one we're going to talk about on the podcast on Monday. Is what do we constitute as success for Wrexham this season? I think if you'd have asked a lot of fans at the start of the season, I think a lot of them would have gone, if we can get to the playoffs after just being promoted, that would be fantastic. I think having been in and around the top 3 for such a long period of time, I think that would maybe feel like a little bit of a failure as to, we've been there and then we've let it slip away. Perhaps it would feel like a little bit of a failure. But as I say, we'll talk about it on the podcast this week. My dad said, hello, Poppy. That is this little one. Karen said it was reversed today. I don't know. I'm not sure what you're referring to there, Karen, because we've talked for a very long time. So we've probably, she's also said feeling George Evans' absence. Yeah, I think, I think you're probably right there, Karen, because he controls the game so much. And I think we are definitely missing that one. TES, it's frustrating that we overpass sometimes too. Lots of shots given up to go to wing backs for crosses. It becomes predictable to do that every time. I think we've had so much success, and it is the Parky way a little bit, because Parky is very much a big fan of getting the ball out wide. He will always play wing backs in every team. If you look back historically over the teams he's managed, he's always played wing backs. He likes getting the ball out wide and getting crosses into the box. As a team, we have had lots of success doing that. So I think sometimes that's always in the players' heads, and they probably practice that a lot.
Yeah.
And you are definitely right. We saw it at Salford. When we were at the Salford game, even though it was a player that had only just come in, I think it's probably drilled into them quite early. Jack Marriott was in just outside the box, and he had an opportunity to just hit it and have a shot on goal. And instead of that, he played the ball out wide.
Yeah.
he overhit it and it went out for a throw in. And sometimes you just go, just hit it. You know, you've got the chance there. But yeah.
Tez said it's wild that right now we only have one striker out of 5 who gives you any confidence in having a chance to score. Who are you talking about? Are you talking about Fletcher there, or I'm not sure who you're talking about.
Well, whoever it is that you believe, you're probably right. Because I don't think we have. You know, Marriott hasn't scored for us yet. Dalby, it's, you know, he is quite hit and miss. We've got Palmer, who never plays. And then we've got, you know, Fletcher's scoring goals. Mullin isn't even really scoring at the moment, you know. But
No.
you could argue if it was Mullin and Fletcher up front, you'd have some confidence that either of them could potentially score. But
Chaz Llewellyn has said, Palmer and Fletcher make me feel good. Yeah, but then we've got some of the flip side to that. Tez has said Palmer sometimes run like he's carrying an anchor around the legs and he loses the ball a lot. Yeah, I've noticed that, but yeah, is that a fitness thing?
Yeah. Sorry, I was reading another comment. Karen said agree, Paul and Ollie. Did you just read that one out?
No.
Sorry.
Mitch Poe, oh my God, our next dog has to be a Cav King Charles Spaniel. We haven't heard
A word you said since that face come on the screen.
our son's come on saying he's hungry. What a surprise.
Right, okay.
Oh, there's been a message restricted, so I'm assuming... Can we read that? Or...
Oh, I don't know.
No.
No.
Chaz Llewellyn, I'm guessing that's from a Gillingham fan. I'm getting nervous for getting tickets in to the Mansfield match late March. Should be a good one. Tickets or not, we will see you there. Yes, we will.
Good stuff.
But the star of the show is in the middle of you two.
Oh,
do you know what? She takes over everything.
She did. Chaz, all these lineup changes, I feel like we're a fancy football team. I would think they would be near the top of the league in different starting 11s. Do you feel continuity could be an issue? Look, it's a massive thing for me, and I have discussed it on the podcast on numerous occasions, where the question always comes back to, are we playing the rotation game really well, or are we completely lacking consistency? You know, the amount of, you know, we're in the 20s for back three partnerships during games this season. We might be close to 30 by now, you know, which is worrying. You know, for teams, we've had 4 people wearing the captain's armband. I'm not being funny. I don't think there are many teams out there who can say they've had 4 different players wearing the captain's armband in the season. That paired with the fact that we've had so many different back threes. Look, it's fine. I get that injury forces you into stuff, and it is nice that we have players, you know, on the bench that can step in and can do a job for us. The question for me is, are you rotating to keep a team fresh, or are you rotating because you've got such good players waiting in the wings that you can't annoy them so much as to leave them out of match day squads week in, week out? If it's the second one, that's a massive problem for the team, that you're worried about leaving players out for prolonged periods of time because they are what you would consider high-profile players who would walk into any other League Two team.
Yeah.
That's a problem. If that is the case, I would veer towards, I think injuries have forced us into a lot of stuff. And I think we do rotate very well. But the lack of consistency does bother me.
Do you think, though, obviously people, you know,
especially, I drink for about 10 minutes.
Especially in the National League, people kind of got used to the way of our style of play. Do you think that Parky is playing the rotation game purely to kind of put teams that we're playing on the back foot, so that, you know, people aren't, because obviously different players have different styles, so it's not going to be, consistency is you know, a good thing, but I think maybe if we're too consistent, then teams are going to come in and they are going to know how we play. So I think for me, I think maybe swapping players round every so often. I think well, I was going to say it goes in our favour, but it hasn't recently. So yeah, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but that's how I see it.
I don't know. I think we need a little bit of the. I think we definitely need a little bit more of both.
Yeah.
We need a bit more consistency
Yeah.
with a small amount of rotation. We sort of feel like we're we're early 2000s Chelsea at the moment, who could have easily put a different starting 11 out every time they played, and generally they did that. They rotated all of the time. If you look round at the other teams in this league, especially the teams who are with us in the top 5 or 6, they play the same 11 every game practically. They do have a little bit of rotation, but so I don't know. It's such a long discussion about whether
we'll talk about it more on the podcast,
or whether it is a lack of consistency, or whether it is rotating, or whether it is rotating for the sake of rotating to keep everybody happy. It's such a massive discussion, and whether that has a detrimental effect, a positive effect, it creates more fight for places. I mean, we haven't got 3 hours, unfortunately, to talk about that, but it is a huge discussion topic, and I think you could talk about that for 2 hours as a standalone subject, if I'm completely honest.
Karen Pendlebury: everyone in America expects Wrexham to get promoted, and every team in League Two wants to beat us, target on our backs. Yeah, do you know what? That's it. I think we are, as Mark and his partner in crime today, I don't know who it was, but they basically said that people, we sell out away games for the opposition side because people want to come and people want to beat us. That's just the way it is. It's like a killing, isn't it?
Yeah,
a giant killing. Giant killing every week. Ben Parker's put, I hear the talking, but just want to give Poppy scratches, that smoochy face. Michael Hillier: last week I was happy, this week feeling down. That this is the roller coaster of being a Wrexham fan. Absolutely. Need an apology and promise of improvement for interviews as not really good enough.
Oh, okay.
What? Chaz Llewellyn: got our head out. Thank you, Sean and Ryan, for the great content as always. See you later up the town. I'm assuming you've already left, but see you later, Chaz.
See you later, Chaz.
Peter Langenecker: I think the defence is not the real issue now. I think every back three has done a job, to be honest. We can't score at the moment.
Yeah.
And the final comment, Chris Wilms: do you think we should not wait on Ford and that last roster spot? Not fill out the last...
I don't know. I think there's an argument here, isn't there, of...
Ford's great, though, when he's fit.
Look, he is great when he's fit. Yeah. But I think you've got to now decide, Chris, what the more pressing issue is. Is the more pressing issue just leaving that spot open and let's wait another week or so? Or how long is George and how long is James out for? Because they're two pivotal, regularly playing midfielders that we have. Parky did an interview this week where he said these interviews are a lot worse than we initially thought they were. So do you go out and get yourself a free agent midfielder, of which there are so many out there? There are so many out there that are better than League Two, and if anybody is gonna go and get them and bring them into League Two, it's us.
Yeah. So
I suppose the question is, what do we do? Because we've got two right wing backs. We've got Barney and we've got Bolton. So do we go, look, if Ford comes in, where does he fit into the picture? Does he fit into third choice? Does he go into second choice? I don't think he's going first, so he's either second or third choice. If he is just filling that final roster spot for third choice right wing back, you could probably argue let's leave him out and let's go and get ourselves another midfielder. I don't know, to be honest. I would be more inclined to go and get another midfielder. That would be my sort of opinion, if I'm honest.
We did say that was the last comment, but we'll just read the last two.
two.
Ben Parker, need work on feeding it to the strikers. Agree the defence has been more solid than our scoring chances.
Yeah.
Chris Wilms, I agree. I think this is a blessing in disguise, unfortunately on Ford's expense.
Yeah, like I say, I think the sensible thing to do is to go out and buy to bring in a free agent midfielder. Yeah. I think, at the end of the day, we've got Barney, I think, as we've seen over the last few games, is the first choice right wing back. Bolton is there as a backup, a very good backup who does offer something slightly different to Barney.
Yeah.
And it will work really well on testing defences who are tired towards the end of the game. And I just think, for somebody coming back from an injury, a long-term-ish injury, maybe just work with Anthony Ford on getting him back up to full fitness, ready for next season. And for me, it's bring a midfielder in. So, yeah. And as Chris has said, in the last comment, he said night.
And Tidy says, good night, Poppy. And you too.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, father-in-law.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
We won't be doing a half-time review or full-time review on Tuesday because it's obviously an evening game and Ryan is working. So, so we won't be doing it.
We won't be doing it, but we will be back at the racecourse next Saturday. We'll be doing a half-time and full-time review from the ground. So we'd love it if everybody joins us. That'd be fantastic. If there's anything you want to see at the ground, by the way, especially the American fans, if there's anything, I am more than happy to walk around. If you want to see me there's
only so far you can walk around, though.
Yeah, I'm not going on the pitch or anything, but if there's anything you want to see, send us a message on Twitter or Facebook. Or
Peter's put a win. Well, we can't promise you that, Peter, but we'll hopefully they will deliver next Saturday.
If there's anything, I know. If you want me to go anywhere and you want me to show you anything, let me know, and I will certainly do that for you. And we will see you again very soon. Oh, Monday podcast 6 p.m. Yeah, watch it. Yeah.
See you soon, guys. Bye.